Yo, what is good, my good people? My name is Martin. Welcome back to my channel, man. If you haven't subscribed, man, hit that subscribe button, crash the notification bell. Stay up to date with everything I got going on. It is highly appreciated. So right now, man, I'm at the point now, man, where I've been hearing all these emails, I've been hearing all these DM questions, and I kind of just want to start surrounding some videos over that just to answer some questions in bulk, especially the questions I get over and over again. And one of the number one questions that I get all the time from you guys, from my subscribers, from people who haven't subscribed yet. If you haven't subscribed, man, make sure you subscribe and make sure you like this too. Is what is your top selling dumpster, or what is the number one dumpster that customers request when they call you? And so I just wanted to go over that with you guys real quick and, kind of explain that, the reasons why a customer may want it. I actually have two of them that they request the most. I just did all my numbers from last year, getting ready for taxes and stuff like that. And, I kind of got a formula that I use, to kind of tell me, what is your most popular product that you sell. Every company, every big major company do it. It's important to know, like McDonald's, I'm sure they know, Big Mac is probably their number one selling burger, or what type of bikes, tricycles or regular bikes. With every company, it's important to know, especially if you got like if you got multiple different products or sizes or colors, it's important to know, which one customers want the most, so you can make sure you got those in stock all the time. So now with these dumpsters and the particular sizes that customers choose, I think it is universal, but it all depends on how you got how you have your dumpster rental business set up. So you got the big roll-off companies, their biggest sizes, say 40 yards, 30 yards, 20 yards, 10 yards. That's probably just the only sizes they offer. And then like a company like me, I offer 5 different sizes. I have the 7 yard, 10 yard, 13 yard, 15 yard, and 16 yard. So I find it, for me, it's either one or the other. So my top 2 selling dumpster rental sizes are my smallest and my largest. Now I just added my 16 cubic yard last year. So last summer when I bought brand new dumpsters, I got my first 16 cubic yard. That was the only one that the manufacturer built. So I couldn't get a 15 yard, so I had to get a 16 yard. So that was my first one. And so I can't really count that for the whole year. However, it did sell a lot last year. But it's my 15 yard and my 7 yard. Now recently, this year alone, it's been my 7 yard, and it's been crazy because I've been getting like a lot of calls, and it's all customers want it is my 7 yard, and I have to tell them. Now a lot of times, now if you guys are going to do a 7 cubic yard dumpster, I suggest you either have it on your website, like the actual size, or have it have a picture of it in your phone so you can send the customers before they confirm it. The reason being is the 7 cubic yard is so small, and also customers look at the price. So especially a lot of times, a lot of my customers from Craigslist, yes, Craigslist still works to get customers. So I find, even Google too, so I don't want to just diss Craigslist and say, oh, the cheap people, hit me up on Craigslist. But I will say, most of the time, when a customer wants a 7 cubic yard, they want a good deal, because it's $170 for 3 days. So, $170, people look online looking for a dumpster. Somebody, especially who never rented a dumpster before, they're looking at this dumpster like, oh man, it's only $170. I got these couches and stuff in my garage and whatnot. So it's important just to talk to the customers. So I have issues with that a lot of times. I even had a customer one time where I brung a 7 yard out. I didn't send them a picture. They were so sure. I wasn't on my game that day talking to the customer. I think I was like real busy, and I just was booking stuff and not even going into detail about customers. And the customer actually, came over there with the 7 cubic yard, and they said, oh man, I can't do anything with that. That thing is too small, man. Look what I got in here. I was really mad too. I didn't really show them, but it was the fact that, that it happened, and it was a far ride. So it was like a 30-minute ride from my yard. So I learned a valuable lesson that day. But my 7 cubic yard has been hot. And I think that's mainly for the price. So with your cheaper dumpsters, if you're getting a lot of calls and they want like the 7 yard, 10 yard, make sure you're questioning your customers, asking them, what type of material do you have? Do you have like couches and big couches and beds and dressers? You want to explain to them that the 7 yard, especially my 7 yard, is not meant for any larger furniture, no dressers, no big bulky items. It's like for small jobs, drywall, quick demos, small amount of trash. It's not made for big old household bulky items. And sometimes I can say that with my 10 yard as well. But my 15 yard is, basically my go-to. I love the 15 yard. That's why I tell you guys, if you're going to start a dumpster rental business, I always suggest to start. Matter of fact, first of all, start with what you have, and then if you're in a position to get like a 15 cubic yard or better, if you're gonna go on a roll-offs, you can even get a 30 yard. I always suggest the bigger ones. The reason why I suggest getting larger dumpsters initially when you first start out, and if you're going to start out with one especially, the reason is if a customer calls you and they want a 10 yard dumpster and you only have a 15 cubic yard, you can still service that customer. What I used to do when I first started out, as you guys know, I bought my first dumpster, my 15 cubic yard, for $1,100. And that was the first dumpster I had, the only dumpster I had for like a few weeks, because I was just grinding, hustling, doing 1-day rentals. And I was able to, get my second dumpster rather quickly because I was putting 100% of my, my profits from my rentals back into the business so I can get more dumpsters, because I just had too much calls I was getting. I couldn't service them. So I was kind of on the ball. But starting out, when I only had a 15 cubic yard, a customer would hit me up and be like, well, I need a 10 yard. And I'm like, oh, only thing I got is a 15 yard. And I thought about it. I'm like, okay, I can still service this customer with my 15 yard. I can still charge them a 10 cubic yard price. And then I can just tell them, don't fill it up. I do measurements, because your measurements for the way you find your cubic yardage for your dumpsters is you do length times width times height divided by 27, and that will give you your cubic yardage. So what I would do is I will measure, and you can make a line in your dumpster where a 10 yard stop and even a 13 yard stop. And you just let the customer know, this is a 15 cubic yard. You pay for a 10 yard. I can bring the 15 cubic yard, but I have a limit inside where you can't fill it up past this line, because that's what you pay for. And that worked out a lot of times, because a lot of times I would bring that my 15 yard to these customers wanting a 10 yard who pay for a 10 yard. And they'll look at it and they'll be like, or they'll call me and be like, well, we actually needed more. We actually used the whole dumpster, so I owe you this amount. So I actually did need this 15 yard. I'm actually glad you brung it. And that's it's better to have more than less. You always, when you go into a customer's house or you're dropping off a dumpster, the customer always let the customer know, man, like, it's always really better to have more than less, because with the 7 yard, you don't know how many times, customer get a 7 yard. I would send them a picture too, and they'll fill it up, and then they'll be calling me like, oh man, I need this back. Are you able to dump it and bring it back, or are you able to bring a bigger one? I totally underestimated the job. So that happens a lot. So make sure you guys are clear on that. But my 7 yard and my 15 cubic yard are my two number one selling dumpsters, period. Now, I sell a lot of 10, I rent a lot of 10 yards, I rent a lot of 13 yards, but it's just something about that lowest mark, you know what I'm saying? It's something about that highest mark. It's either those two, and you get a lot of in-betweens though, but those are my number one. Now, this will vary, like I said, with you. You might live in a place or area where people only need the larger dumpsters, and you only getting customers in that area who needs the, big dogs. So just do your research, do your reconnaissance on your market, and make sure you're keeping track of the sizes that people go for the most. So like me, I will be getting some more 16 yards and probably another 7 yard. But I am debating, and I've been debating this for a while, especially going to the landfill lately. And I know it's not their fault, it is what it is, but I just been waiting for them to do the pull off. It's just been kind of time consuming. And especially when it gets bitter cold, it get a little irritating. So I've been kind of like, going through that. So I'm definitely considering getting the roll off. So be on the lookout for that. Probably sometime when it gets warm. I may just have to adjust a little bit and hop in the game, even though I'm good at where I'm at. But Like I said, I don't want to be wasting time, especially with the new driver I got coming on. I don't want them at the dump waiting, you know what I mean, an extra 30 minutes and they're on the clock. So they're waiting, getting paid, you know, 3 hours out of the day if they go there like 4 or 5 times, whatever. So, you know, something to look at, something I'm considering. So be on the lookout for that. But I appreciate you guys, man. Make sure you like this. Make sure you share this. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, man. I appreciate y'all. God bless y'all. Peace out.